Catholicism is one of the largest faith traditions in the world, and it influences how millions of people think about morality, gender, family, and sexuality. Because of that global influence, the way Catholic ethics evolves matters far beyond the Church itself. Our project asks a simple question: how is Catholic teaching on gender and sexuality changing today, and who is shaping that change? Most people assume these teachings are fixed, and that the Church figured them out centuries ago, and now simply enforces them. But our research shows it's not that simple. In Sex and Gender, Christian and Ethical Reflections, Mary Jo Yozo and Patricia Young explain that Catholic sexual ethics rely heavily on natural law theory. Under natural law, relationships are considered morally right when they align with reproduction in traditional marriage. Anything outside that framework, like same-sex relationships, is usually labeled as immoral. Yozo and Young also show that this system has been strongly criticized by feminist and queer theologians, who argue that these teachings are developed by a hierarchy that does not listen to lived experience. Rather than ethics being shaped by the realities of people's relationships, they are defined from the top down by church authority. This creates our central tension. While the church claims moral teaching comes directly from timeless truth, those teachings are actually shaped by who holds power and whose voices are included or excluded from the conversation.
Baker Rogers' book, Conditionally Accepted, looks at how real Christians make moral decisions about sexuality. What he found was that believers fall into three broad groups. Some fully reject homosexuality as sinful, others try to be tolerant but still oppose marriage equality, and the third group only openly affirms LGBTQ relationships as compatible with their faith. What's important is that all three groups claim their views come from Christianity. They use the Bible, they speak the same religious language, but they reach completely different conclusions. This shows that Catholic morality is not simply accepted as one fixed set of rules from the church leadership. People interpret teachings through their own experiences, values, and consciences. Rogers' research supports our argument: moral authority does not exist only in the hierarchy. It is constantly renegotiated at a level of ordinary belief. Catholic ethics develop this through tensions between official doctrine and personal faith.
Kim Petitioner's book, Religious Crisis and Civic Transformation, shows that this struggle between authority and lived experience has happened before. Studying Catholic communities in Germany during the 1960s and 70s, she found that debates over contraception, women's rights, and sexual ethics deeply disrupted church authority. When church teachings conflicted with people's lived realities, Catholics didn't simply obey. Many began trusting personal conscience over clerical instruction. Over time, moral authority shifted away from bishops and toward everyday believers. This history supports our thesis. Catholic ethics change when believers challenge the dominance of hierarchy with lived experience. The debates we see today over same-sex blessings or women's leadership are modern versions of the same ongoing struggle.
Crystal Manning's research focuses on Catholic women and how they live within the power structure. She found that women rarely respond to church authority in simple ways. Most don't completely obey or reject the church's teachings. Instead, they constantly negotiate between doctrine and personal beliefs. Some women openly challenge teachings they believe are unjust. Others remain more traditional but still find ways to gain influence through teaching, community work, or activism. Mary Oates' book, Pursuing Truth, shows how Catholic women created colleges and educational institutions when leadership positions were close to them. Education became a way to shape Catholic culture from the outside of official power structures. Together, Manning and Oates show that women have been reshaping Catholic ethics despite being excluded from clerical authority. Their lived impact challenges the idea that moral power belongs solely to church leadership.
Aline Calbian's book, Sexing the Church, brings all of these arguments together. She explains that church teachings on abortion, reproduction, and sexuality operate not only as moral guidelines, but also as systems of control. These teachings define who holds authority over bodies, relationships, and personal choices. Most of these rules are written by leaders who are not directly affected by them, which disconnects church ethics from lived experience. Calbian argues that this creates a moral structure that prioritizes obedience and hierarchy over compassion and understanding. Her work directly supports our main claim. Catholic ethics surrounding gender and sexuality are not simply divine commands. They are shaped by power struggles between institutional authority and the realities faced by believers, especially women and LGBTQ Catholics. The future of Catholic morality depends on which voices carry more weight, the hierarchy or the people.
In the end, Catholic ethics do not change simply because church leaders choose flexibility. They change because believers push back, interpret their faith through lived experience, and reshape morality from the ground up.